starting from the understanding of form and emptiness, and emptiness is form, and form is form, and emptiness is emptiness. And our procedure to the goal, we came pretty far away from the original starting point. It is necessary right now to reflect what we have been studying. In personal instruction, someone expressed her feeling when she saw some animal devouring some animal, and she became very angry with the animal who is devouring another weak one. If you don't actually see that side, it doesn't matter. It is someone's problem. But once you see, it is your problem, not animals' problems. So, the problem of just animal world. But when I thought in the same time, when I listened to her, I thought there is her world as well as animals' world, and each world there is Buddha. For us, there is Shakyamuni Buddha. For animal, I don't know what Buddha is. But actually, animals are practicing so hard in their own way. You may say, it may be a great rescue for the weak if you kill the animal all at once and let them eat quicker, rather than remain the weaker for a long time in pain and suffering. But suppose that the small animal were to be bodhisattva, who is practicing his way. What does he say? Don't watch me. I'm very serious. I'm practicing my way with my whole and body. Don't watch me. Go away. I'm practicing, our way. This is my world. I have teacher called so and so Buddha. That will what he will say, I think. So, when you understand how you practice your way with your whole body and mind, you will understand various practices and various way of practice and many Buddhas, not only 77,000 of Buddhas, but innumerable Buddhas will be in innumerable world. That is very true. If you read the scripture in which Shakyamuni Buddha's practice was written, Shakyamuni Buddha's practice in his former life as a bodhisattva. That is not just a story at all. That is actually what we are seeing right now in this world. Actually, someone saw it and told me about it. So only when we understand our way, each word will be, each animal in each world will be saved all at once, at the same time, including Shakyamuni Buddha. In this way, we should understand our way. This kind of understanding is form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The animal is a form, actually. You may say that form. That is form. That is only an animal, only a cat, you may say. But actually, if you understand what is cat through and through, that is emptiness itself, from which various teaching comes from. And our practice follows. So, this teaching of form is emptiness and emptiness is form is not just verbal teaching which was told by Buddha. It is something more than that. Actually, this teaching is the mother of Shakyamuni Buddha. You may say, Shakyamuni Buddha told us this sutta. But actually it is not so. If you understand the true meaning of the scripture, this teaching, this Dharma of Prajna Paramita Sutra or Hridaya Sutra is the mother of Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha came out from this sutra. Not only Shakyamuni Buddha, many and many Buddhas comes out from it. If form is emptiness, the various form is emptiness. And from emptiness, various teachings will appear. when you understand the teaching in this way, the enlightenment is first, or emptiness is first. Emptiness is mother of everything. And the teaching is teaching or Buddha. It's next, not next, but teaching or Shakyamuni Buddha comes out from the teaching or for the enlightenment or the emptiness. So emptiness is first and Buddha is second. Usually, when you understand the teaching is something which was told by Buddha, that is not direct enough. And this is quite usual understanding. But when you understand that Buddha or teaching was told by the mother of the teaching or Shakyamuni Buddha is the emptiness or enlightenment, then you will find out innumerable words which will come up from the enlightenment. And this enlightenment actually exists in each word, on each moment. When you practice sadhana, there is this enlightenment, which is mother of everything. And so, when you reach this kind of understanding, you will find out the meaning of the teaching or practice in quite different way. Before, Shakyamuni Buddha was someone who was born 3,000 years ago. The teaching was something which was told by Buddha. But now, Shakyamuni Buddha, his mother was the practice or enlightenment. You can say practice or enlightenment in both ways, because it is one. Where there is practice, there is enlightenment. So you may say the practice is the mother of the Buddhas, all the Buddhas. And your practice is the mother of all beings and all the world and people who live in all the world. That is why we say, if one attains enlightenment in its true sense, that is, all sentient beings enlightened. Do you understand? I am not involved in some mystical thought. I am telling you actual fact. So, in our practice, enlightenment and practice should be one, should not be two. It is not. After you practice our way, that you attain enlightenment. That is wrong understanding. If that is so, how can a frog attain enlightenment? Did you see the picture done by Sengai Osho? Frog was sitting like this. It says, if Zazen makes us Buddha, if Zazen makes us Buddha, and that is the commentary to the picture. It's very interesting. The more you think about it, frog tells you many things. If it doesn't lead you attain, if it doesn't makes you good, he may say, I'm practicing doesn't. Why can't be? What can I? Why can I attain? Why is it impossible to attain enlightenment for me? I am practicing that since I was born. Even before I was born, in the small age, for many days. So we, if Zazen is so important, just to practice Zazen is so important. We are practicing Zazen in our mother's womb for 10 months. Perfect posture. So we should be inborn Buddha. But actually we are inborn Buddha. Actually it is so. You may take in this way. But another interpretation will be like this. If, even though, you practice Zazen, that Zazen is just cross-legged posture. And to kill time, that will not work. Like my Zazen. You may understand in that way. And Prabhupada will tell you in that way. But actually, my understanding is, yes, you have attained enlightenment. You are practicing so hard. And you will practice your way in various ways. Now you are sitting on the stone, but someday you will have deep practice. When a snake comes, you will be devoured by snake. You are swallowed up, but you will not move. You let the snake devour you. That is your practice. And you have your teacher in your world, kingdom. That is your teacher. I will understand in that way. And if someone says, you are ruthless, yes, I may be. Most of the time I am useless because I am not studying our way so hard. When we are lazy, ignoring our practice, which we should do, then I must be ashamed of myself. So even a frog studying their way very hard. So we human beings mostly ashamed of ourselves for attaining something good or avoiding something bad experience. This is not our practice. And this is not Bodhisattva's way. When we are prepared for it, there is our world, our independent world. Even Buddha cannot, Shakyamuni Buddha cannot see through our practice because our practice is independent practice. We live in our world, our kingdom. Continuing this kind of practice innumerable times, we will meet someday with Shakyamuni Buddha who attained enlightenment, perfect enlightenment. Even though we do not meet him, we should be very grateful for him, who left us the true way of studying, the way. So as long as we know who is our mother, there is nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing to worry. This is our belief in emptiness. Did you understand? During sesshin, I think you have been making very good effort and you have attained what you have attained this day. There is no wonder in this point. And you came here so far away from your home. And you are right now listening to something quite different teaching you ever have had. And having been encouraged by your sincere effort, my understanding of our way also improved a lot by your actual feeling expressed for me, whether you are aware of it or not. When I am practicing with you, my understanding of our way becoming deeper and deeper, and more actual, and more active than ever. This kind of experience possible only when we practice our way in this country, where people have not much preconceived idea about our way. You have no preconceived idea. So for you, what you see, what you hear, besides my lecture or my limited lecture, it is quite, you respond. Your response is quite genuine. So there, I can see from our understanding the true interpretation of our practice. So I see our way in your reaction to the teaching, in your reaction to the things you hear, you see in Tassajara. This is my great privilege. The main point of my lecture this afternoon is usually when we say practice or teaching, it is teaching is the guidance of practice. And by practice, you will attain enlightenment. This is quite usual order. This is just limited. This practice but is limited in our human world. But through practice, handed down from Buddha to us, is not the same way. Even before Buddha, our teaching was true. And our teaching will be immortal. So our teaching is something which exists, which actually exists in everything. And that teaching is not just teaching which was told by someone. It is before teaching, there is teaching. If the teaching before it is told what it is something more than that. So we call it enlightenment or emptiness. So this kind of this kind of connotation of teaching is wider and deeper than the teaching, which is the guidance of the practice. Of course, guidance of practice is teaching, but true teaching is more than that. So, teaching is itself should be enlightenment itself, which is mother of the teaching. And Buddha, who told us the teaching, is must have born from the teaching, from this kind of teaching, from the enlightenment, from Dharma. So for us, Dharma is first, or enlightenment is first, and Buddha, and that Buddha will tell us some teaching. So teaching is third. In this order, we can arrange our idea. Enlightenment, Buddha. From enlightenment, Buddha comes out. And Buddha tells us teaching. And if you are one of the Buddha, you will, what you do is teaching. What you do is practice. So, enlightenment is first, and practice follows the enlightenment. So this is just opposite. You may think, after you practice that, you will attain enlightenment. But that enlightenment, the meaning of the enlightenment is quite different. Meaning of practice is quite different from the true understanding of enlightenment and practice. This much understanding, even in intellectually, is necessary, or else you cannot practice Buddhism in its true sense. Our practice is for yourself and for others too. And understanding of your practice will lead you understanding of the animals' practice. Understanding of your world will lead you to the understanding of animals' life. So there is no, you cannot compare the meaning of practice and enlightenment to the usual understanding of practice and enlightenment. It is not matter of eggs first or hen first. Enlightenment is first, or practice is first. It is not a matter of which is first. The understanding, it is the depth of understanding. It is the directness of the difference of the directness of the understanding. Well, I think when you are listening to me, you may feel you understood it. But when you go home, you will be involved in quite huge way of understanding. And so be careful not to be involved in stupid understanding of life. Someone said the kindness in here is quite different from the kindness in the city. That is, I think, very true. Our way of understanding is quite different. We do not say anything which we do not firmly believe in it. We do not say anything. We only say what we are believing. So that is why you feel as if you have understood it. You see? But why is it not possible for you to understand what we have understood? Why? The reason is quite simple. Because we do not look around. We see something directly. That's all. We do not say this is good or bad. It may be better go to San Francisco in such a hot day. We have no such idea. Or we have no idea whether you are sleeping or listening to me. I don't mind at all. I am always, I always confess, in some way. And I'm always encouraging myself. At the same time, I'm encouraging yourself. I don't look around. When I am talking to you, in my mind, there's nothing. Here, there is complete world. This is the world, real world. When this world becomes real world, every world is possible to become real. It is not matter of what kind of world exists somewhere beside this world. The point is whether this world is real world or not. Point is whether our practice is real practice is or not is the point. You see, when our practice is real, that is our world, there is Shakyamuni Buddha, who is taking care of us. This is the complete world. Moment after moment, we have to have complete world. That is form is emptiness. Because it is complete, that is emptiness. But it actually exists here. That is form. Did you understand? I think so. This is the only difference from usual uh, understanding of way, understanding of the way. It is not matter of which scripture is supreme scripture, or which religion is best religion. Even though the simple religion, if it is, if one devotes himself to the religion, that is true religion. In our practice, this point is particularly emphasized by the founder. There are several quotations from Diamond Sutra, but I cannot translate it appropriately. So I want to skip it, but he says, we heard many times that Buddha left us a supreme teaching. But until the understanding comes through, which that it was Dharma who born, it was the enlightenment who made Buddha Buddha. Many people think this is many people think Buddha told us the teaching. But Buddha was told by teaching, by enlightenment. Enlightenment told Buddha. Until we come to this understanding. How many practice is necessary? How many practice is necessary? How many? It is not just, your practice, but how many sessions is practice is necessary until we come to this understanding. Even a frog studying hard in his work, each session being striving for bodhisattva's way with their full mind and body. So how many people, how hard they strive for this teaching, that it was the teaching who told, who make Buddha Buddha. That is true Buddha. Buddha who was born by teaching, by emptiness, by enlightenment. Why we are not Buddha? When we practice our way, with our mind and body, like frog, when we are not ashamed of our way in front of blood, then you understand. Then you can eat blood, even. So the point is, whether your practice is done by your whole body and mind. This is the key point. Don't look around. In this way, we should practice our way. Fortunately, we have one more day. You see? Don't be ashamed of your practice. Or else, flat, flat. What are you doing? Okay. Thank you very much. I think it's very simple. You think it's fancy. It's maybe the difference of the sense, You think it's fancy, that is all right, I don't. I can understand how you feel, but if you see our Japanese tea ceremony, you may think that is very troublesome and tedious and complicated. But if you understand it, that is the best way, the result of the various practice and experience. that is my answer. Hey. Please.
I was wondering why, after zazen, like sometimes I feel really good. Why shouldn't we, get happy and run around and dance and sing? I don't understand that.
You see, when you have honey in your bowl, you see, a lot of honey. Your bowl is full of honey. Then, can you dance with honey in your bowl? Your spirit. So I think it may be better to keep it, to hold it still. That is how I feel.
Are we supposed to keep all our feelings more inside us then, as opposed to letting them out either in dancing or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
How do we not spill our honey when we go back to food?
To raise some fun. That's a good idea, I think.
May I ask Dr. Stanford a question? I'm confused in that modern psychiatrists used to want to tend to talk about strengthening the ego, and Buddhism about dissolving it, and also about the feelings that psychiatrists were saying that it's not healthy psychologically to hold your feelings within, and that also conflicts. It seems to me the two should not conflict.
The question was the use of the word ego in psychiatry, and psychiatrists saying that you should strengthen the ego, and in Buddhism saying you should destroy it. And I think the words are being used in different ways. The second question was about expressing feelings, and there I think there are many different views by many different psychiatrists, so there's no standard view.
Can I add something? To Liz's question, my understanding anyway is that it has the fact that you don't let the feelings out exactly doesn't mean that they're not in you with clarity and expression. It's not repression or anything like that. Everything happens inside of you and you're conscious of it. But it's just not, do you see what I mean? I mean, you don't, in Zazen, like, everything happens. You let it happen.
This is it. These questions being asked. What about the possibility of combining more what would seem to be diverse things, like perhaps one night there be dances or a play presented, something of that sort, with a live practice? Are they so antagonistic that they couldn't work?
Yeah. May I answer? Yeah, this is the same thing with the destroying and self and strengthen the self. The meaning is the same, but the expression is different. To cut off conscious root of the consciousness, or to develop your consciousness to the utmost extreme, or to the whole world. This is same thing. This is just a difference of the wording. If you really understand what we mean, it is not, to destroy your ego. When your ego covers everything, that is the same thing. If ego covers everything, there is no more ego. When only there is ego, what is that? That is not ego anymore. What we mean is the same, if you really understand it. Inside and outside is also same.
I feel that way, and I wonder why some other activities couldn't fit in, because that's true.
Oh, that is your lack of practice. You should practice back and forth, from right and from back. This is our practice. Within movement, there should be calmness. And the calmness of the mind should be always active within, or ready to be active. Understand?
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah. Hi.
Do you approve of cultivating a certain skill during the time that we practice so that it can give us hints as we go along in this skill as to how far we've come in our practice? In other words, if we're looking for some sort of signpost or direction as we're going along in our practice, that we have come somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we read the book, The Art of Archery. I'm not saying that's practical, but some sort of skill or something.
Skill. Yeah.
Something that we are giving ourselves to, which would indicate to us along the way that our practice is bearing fruit. Because sometimes, especially in the beginning, you feel lost, even in your practice.
Yes.
You must have a feeling, at least in the beginning, that you have some sort of direction or accumulation that's occurring to carry you through the times when you don't feel your practice is helping, or it is not bearing fruit. You don't think so. It may be anyway, but you need some sort of encouragement.
Mm-hmm. You need some candy. Will you explain?
I think Zen has something to do with being ready for any activity. And that takes our full attention, just getting that readiness. If you want to go out and be in a play or be an architect or whatever, you should do that. But here we're concentrating on, in a sense, being ready for any activity. But you can do any activity you'd like,
I mean, when we leave here, some of us who leave here, who do not have a teacher at that time, when we leave, and we need some sort of indication while we're
Well, the way you've learned here to practice your life, if when you go to the city, you practice your life that way. Imagine yourself in an enormous monastery. And then you can, when you do your job as if you were practicing here. You'll find it quite interesting.
I would like once more to find out whether I'm on the right track with this Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate mantra from the Heart Sutra. I get the impression from Edward Conley and other sources that the mantram, if it becomes part of your regular consciousness, can overcome a lot of this monkey mind. Is this true? And if it is true, why don't we hear more about it in Soto Zen?
Because that is, because Zen, if you practice Zen, in its truth, all the mantras is included. That is why. Here, again, what is Zen, it should be clarified. And Zen is the practice to become one with the world, whatever you say, your world, or our world. And here we have problem. What is our world? Our world right now is to sit in Tassajara, our world. So when our activity is limited in Tassajara, you have really problems. But if you feel, when you feel whatever, if you do not like Tassajara, you can go to San Francisco. If you, as long as you have that kind of idea, practice doesn't work. You see? So it is necessary for you to have your own world. And when you have limited activity to which you are concentrated, then you have fear, you have trouble, you have difficulty. When you are in this kind of situation, mantras works, as well as forms emptiness, and emptiness is form. The teaching itself, because to have your own world is what the mantra means, and Prajna Paramita Sutra means. So actually, you are practicing Zen. Zen and mantra is same thing, in this sense. So when you are under this circumstances, in other words, when you are practicing Zen, mantra works. But when you are hopping around, looking around, seeking for something good, you don't want any mantra. Mantra do not help this kind of people at all. You see? So that is why we do not talk about mantra to people who do not practice Zen. You see? It doesn't work.
Could I comment on ego strength and dissolving ego?
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of thinking about that as a student of psychology. It helps. And I think ego strength is not dissolving your ego. I think it's becoming more self-accepted. And in Buddhism, dissolving ego means to get rid of self-centeredness. And so they're two different things. And in meditation, I think we get a lot of these emotions out the same way you would by going to a psychiatrist. And Dokusan too, the same kind of thing.
This is, very important point, especially in Soto school. It takes pretty long explanation using many technical terms. 1 hour is not long enough to clarify this point. It, it is not matter of actually strengthening ego or cutting off the ego. This is pretty, not difficult to understand, but when I want to explain it properly, it takes time. When you have your world, in your world, the world round side is your ego. If it is
Is Buddha nature something conditioned or unconditioned?
something conditioned, unconditional one is Buddha nature. And it is, unconditional one, but we can appreciate it as a conditional one.
And
Conditional and unconditional is the Buddha nature. Both. Okay?
Well, you always seem to say, the form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And I think I have a feeling of understanding of form being emptiness, but I feel lost with emptiness being form. And I think once in one of your lectures on the Heart Sutra, you gave a very neat explanation of it that helped, and I've forgotten it.
Form is emptiness. Form is emptiness. It's understandable.
Yeah, but not the other way around.
But emptiness is form. How about it? Form, you are watching always form. So when we talk about the formless, form, you understand it. It is emptiness. You know that, but emptiness is form. Maybe a little bit difficult to understand. It means, it looks like whatever you do, that is emptiness. And this is rather difficult to understand. Why? Because when you do it, we just say, whatever you do it, we say, but that do is not just in usual sense. Here, practice is involved.
Do you mean that all emptiness assumes form? Is that sort of the idea? That, in other words, that all emptiness assumes some sort of form anyway, so that's how emptiness is formed?
I cannot follow. I'm figuring out what you mean.
I guess what I mean is there an unconditioned that well, it's like if everything is Buddha nature and there is this sort of absolute existing sort of at the center of everything, then is there any center of something that doesn't take on a form?
Is any emptiness formless? Is any emptiness formless?
Emptiness?
Oh, I see what you mean. Does any emptiness remain emptiness and not become form, is what she means.
Oh, no. No emptiness remains formless. Emptiness always, taking form.
It sounds like you have two buckets and you're pouring back and forth.
Did you understand? Yeah. That is very important point, So, no emptiness, which has no form.
No form without emptiness. Oh, that's beautiful.
Good.
In the sutra we chant, the Meal Sutra, it says Buddha was born. It says attained enlightenment at one place and entered nirvana at another. And this is something I've never understood. I'm sure I can't understand it, Maybe if you could explain, I could understand how I can't understand it. There's a difference between enlightenment and nirvana, and you read about the Bodhisattva first attained enlightenment, but then he won't go on to nirvana. Or like there's... Well, I don't know. I just want to, if we're going to understand these things.
All right. Mr. Suzuki Roshi, I'm going to give you the answer for that. Listen, we say triple treasure, or three treasures, see? And one of them is the Buddha. And the confusion you have is the sort of unclarified concept of Buddha. So who is Buddha? And we could see this from three different standpoints. In other words, three different categories. And the first one is the Buddha, who was another historical Buddha, see, who was born in India, in Kapilavastu, then attained enlightenment when he was 31 years old. So in other words, he realized the emptiness is form and the form is emptiness, see, and became the Buddha, the enlightened one. That is his enlightenment, see. And enter into nirvana, that means his physical extinction, extinction of his physical body. And again, nirvana has various different meanings, connotations too. But here, that means his physical death. Okay?
Okay, well, to complete That's really exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, that is one concept of the Buddha. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like in Hanya Shinyo, that's in the Prajna Paramita Sutra. I think Suzuki Roshi already explained it to you. See, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva is the figure he talks in that sutra. See, but who is really the Kanin Bodhisattva or Kanjizai Bodhisattva? See, who is he? Even though it is said as Bodhisattva, see that with all to each one of us is, or will be, or is to be the Kanjizai Bodhisattva. See? And we call that this sort of Buddha. See, he said all sentient beings are the Buddha, or attaining enlightenment. See, this sort of thing. We call this. This is another concept of the Buddha too. We are the Buddha. See, we are originally the Buddha. And another one is the Buddha sitting here. See, he is also the Buddha too. We call this the Juji Sambo, the Buddha of Juji Sambo. See, and I told the Buddha who is, we are the Buddha. This is the Buddha of the one embodiment. See, and Buddha Shakyamuni is a historical Buddha who realized this fact. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Oh.
Angie?
I heard, I read about a koan, Bhakti, in a letter, asked, I think, a monk or a nun or something, if they understood the meaning of birds flying in the ocean and fish swimming in the air. Does this have to do with the Genjo koan?
I couldn't hear you. Basi letter?
Wrote to a monk or nun, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
and asked him or her if they understood the meaning of birds swim in the ocean and fish fly in the air. Is this something that has to do with Genjo koan?
Genjo koan. I am not familiar with Basi letter. That is very recently, after studying, after discovering his letter, this is found to be very important and meaningful teaching is in it. But I'm not familiar with it. I haven't read it. So will you explain about the story more?
Well, I think, I can't remember exactly which letter it was, but it was a lot of questions that had to do with, I think it was a nun's practice.
Mm-hmm.
And he Basi wrote back and said,
Basi.
if you don't understand this, then you must keep practicing, and if you don't understand it in this life, then you'll understand it in the next one. This koan or whatever it was, the fish flying in the air and the birds swimming in the ocean, that really can't over my head.
Do you understand what you said?
So what you're really asking is, what is the meaning of the koan?
Yeah.
Birds swim in the ocean and fish fly over your head.
Yeah.
See, there's the koan, or that kind of statement of fish fly in the air and birds swim in oceans. Basui said. She wants to know what that means.
Oh, fish fry. You see, people think fish, fly, no, swim in the ocean, bird fly in air. That is usual understanding. But it's quite usual. But if I say, opposite way, you may say, I'm crazy. But really, am I crazy or not? That is the point. You see, sometimes, oh yes, Eisai Zenji, when Dogen Zenji saw Eisai Zenji and asked a question about why, what is Buddha nature, and when we have Buddha nature, why is it necessary to practice our way? And he said, Buddha nature. All the Buddhas in the three worlds does not know what is Buddha nature. But fox and what is it? Badger knows what is Buddha nature. Here, knows means at the same time do not know. When you know completely, you see, you do not know, because as if you do not know your eyes, or you do not see your eyes. But it does not mean you have no eyes. The same story will be the mountain, bridge will go, but water will stay. This is the same story.
I still don't understand.
You don't understand.
I understand what you said about the eyes.
Oh, eyes. Because you have eyes,
Yeah, I understand.
and your eyes is too much familiar with your, you are too familiar with your eyes. That is why you do not see. So, usual understanding, which is too much familiar to you, sometimes do not make any sense to you. Something which is beyond your understanding makes sense when you study something. So you should extend your practice where your usual understanding cannot reach. This kind of practice is necessary. How is it possible? That is only way is to practice true practice, which is based on the teaching, form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And this kind of shift should be possible in our practice. I told you about the story of animal eating, devouring tiny bird. That cannot be acceptable. But when your practice reach over your understanding, which is just familiar to yourself, then you can understand the situation of a bird as if you are in the same situation, and what you will do in the same situation when you are devouring by a cat. Do you escape from it, or do you ask someone's help? And asking someone's help is work or not, What is the way? If your practice reach to this extent, you will understand, the meaning of the bird swimming in the water and fish fry.
Will it help us any to identify with animals?
Identify? No. Or
Ourselves in their places? Is it part of our practice?
No. What I mean is not to just identify the understanding of your life with the other situation of birth, not imagination, but through your practice you have right now. Do you understand? Extended practice, not identification. Identification is here. Practice is by your whole body and mind. Did you understand?
When I said practice hard, and you don't attain Buddhahood this life, you'll attain it next life.
Yeah, I'm joking. Even though what I meant was, even though, try hard, you have, your understanding of practice is not perfect. It doesn't work.
Was there such a thing as next life?
Yeah.
Or what is meant by that?
There's, clear difference between intellectual understanding and the understanding through your practice. You can, through our practice, we can fly without airplane. It reaches this much, We can understand, this kind of various world in the same way. This is not magic, I'm not talking about magic.
As much as is possible within a short time, could you continue the discussion of the ego?
Ego. Mm-hmm.
As you were doing a little while ago?
Mm-hmm. Ego.
Just your explanation which you were beginning to give, which you said would normally take you at least a whole hour. Just possibly highlight or point out.
Give us an outline.
Give us a synopsis so we can write it on the testimony.
Ego.
Victor had was trying to give a explanation between the ego of Buddhism, what it means to extinguish that, and what psychiatry or psychology is talking about as ego strength.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that the understanding of the differences was much more complicated, or should be given more time to explain. And I wondered if you could continue on that explanation.
Ego. Strictly speaking, ego does not exist. When you stress it, it means to put emphasis on some point of the stream of some successive activity of yourself. Here is your ego. Next moment, here is your ego. It is not just continuous ego. It is changing moment after moment. That is why we say ego does not exist. No such thing as ego. You see, the firewood does not become ash. That is true. So there is no firewood or no ash. There is no ego. But still, something exists moment after moment. You can understand same thing in two ways. One is successive, no successive ego. The other is discontinuous ego exists, which changes, even though in the smallest particle of time imaginable, it exists. It appears. So something which do not disappear actually do not exist. Whatever it is, what appears should disappear. This is true. So ego is something which should disappear and which should appear. So ego has two meanings. So sometimes we say ego exists. And to strengthen ego is to have your own world, to have your own practice. You see? That is to stress your ego. But if you attach to some particular state of mind, that is delusion, which do not actually exist. That is no more. No more such thing. Because something appears, should disappear. Nothing exists without disappearing. Isn't this true? Both is true. The concept of time is also continuous and discontinuous. When we talk about ego, it involves always concept of time. The time is continuous and discontinuous. That is time. When I say 9 o'clock, that is idea of discontinuity. And when we say time exists, time continues. That is the idea of time of continuous. So even the time is continuous and discontinuous. So is the self. Self is continuous and discontinuous. Appear and disappear. And yet it continues in some way. But it changes. As long as it changes, same ego do not exist. Do you understand? So to strengthen your ego means to have your own practice, to live in your own world, and let everything live its own world, and let everything has its own position. You see, that is true mercy. To keep a dog in your house is not always to love dogs. You see?
In my dasa, many images come to mind which interfere with my concentration on sitting, on just sitting, if I become involved with them. Is there, what should I do with this? I mean, what does this mean?
Many ideas come.
Images like of what will happen or what has happened. Or, and I forget about where I am,
Yeah. If you understand that many images which looks like comes from outside, it also exists in your own practice. That is also a part of practice, Nothing comes from outside. Whatever you hear, whatever you see, that is within yourself. That is your own world. Why you shouldn't? Why are you disturbed by it? You have your own. Let me say something more. If you have pain on your legs, do you cut off your legs and practice that? No, you don't. Same thing, your practice, is not strong enough, or I don't know, very dualistic, or very limited. How can you understand the fish fry? Your practice should be extended that much.
Well, what I meant was not to cut them off, but it seemed like I became so involved in them that it didn't, it didn't seem like I was practicing.
Yes, I understand how you feel and what you mean. We just say, let it come in, let it go out. Why? Without disturbing by it. Don't entertain them.
What about everything coming from inside yourself like I'll get to a point of concentration and deliberately start trying to daydream. And it's really makes me mad. But I don't know, I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. Or if someday I'll just be able to concentrate instead of conjuring up things to keep myself in concentrate. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But it's like my ego says, okay, you've concentrated far enough, and now it's my turn.
Technically, concentration is important in Zazen. Without concentration, there is no Zazen. That is very true. But that is not only important thing. The big mind is necessary. You see?
Yeah, I understand, but I don't see how it relates, because it seems like these thoughts that come in keep me from the big mind,
Yes.
It's like a wall that gets set up between me and everything else.
Always, realize this point. The world, the practice you have is not. Your practice is your own practice. That is true. But that is not only practice. Some others will practice in some other way. That is also practice. When we devote ourselves to it completely with mind and body, this is the focus, or the most important point. And you see, when you concentrate on your practice, that is the most important point. The practice, concentration is a part of practice, but not all of it. So, if you think just to be concentrated on something, then that is not true understanding. You have to accept your practice, and at the same time you have to accept others' practice, other way of practice. Then you will not be attached to your own practice so much. Here you have true freedom from your practice too. Accepting many words in the same way and developing your practice to the innumerable words, and still you can sit in your own position, in your own way, with your whole mind and body. You see, there is your Zazen, true Zazen. When we are discussing Zazen, our Zazen only, without accepting frog's Zazen, or tile polishing Zazen, or jewel maker's Zazen.
I could ask about your Jiji Muge. Is that the same as the form and emptiness is form?
Excuse me.
The idea of Jiji Muge?
Jiji Muge, yes. Jiji Muge. Jiji Muge is understandable. Jiji Muge means whatever it is, there is underlined truth. And truth and the phenomena is one. This is understandable. Everything goes as the truth goes. And everything exists without any interruption. You see, this is rather difficult to understand. If there is a cat, there is a bird. This is very difficult to understand, to accept. When you understand the truth of Jijimuge, there's nothing can disturb other being. That is Jijimuge. There is no interruption between various beings, which is teaching of Kegon school. So doesn't practice should go. This is the true which doesn't practice. Of course, it is so. It must be so.
I have a question that I think that a lot of people are worried about. I think a lot of people feel that here they gain something that they don't want to see just go away when they go back to the city. And I think a lot of people have gained something involved in our way of life here that I know I'm afraid that it's just going to vanish when I get back to the city. In the city, there's so many questions and problems that we don't even have. Yes. And there doesn't seem to be any right or wrong answer. The right thing to do or wrong thing to do.
That is very true, because city is too mixed up and complicated, and it is difficult to live in it. You don't find your own home even in the city. That is very true. But it does not mean there is no life in the city. Even in city, there should be life. If you understand our way, you can establish your life in the city too. You see, the river is running, but a bridge will stay. You see.
What is the best thing to do then? There doesn't seem to be any way to live that we can devise. So many questions that don't have any right or wrong answer. What's the best way to behave, to live,
the only way. You want a lot of training, back and forth. That is, another our way. You should practice our way, back and forth. Our way is pretty complicated, as you know. Someone pointed out. Audio key. But the city is more busy and more complicated. And in some extent, it is more formal. There is not much freedom. It looks like freedom, but actually not much freedom in it. It is anyway mixed up. But you have to accept it. City is some place like that. You should realize it. And but try not, to understand city life completely. It is impossible. Just enjoy it.
You were talking about form
emptiness. And according to the sutras, my form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The same is true of feelings, impulses, and consciousness. And so forth.
Yes.
These are also emptiness. And emptiness is also free. And to my understanding, I can transpose all of these to what you have said about form and emptiness. Is this correct?
Yes, form and emptiness. Emptiness is form. When we say emptiness is form, we accept form. And form is emptiness. I don't know which is which, but it is way of saying. I always wonder which means which. Emptiness is form. In English, which do you mean? When I say emptiness is form, emptiness is form. So emptiness is subject, and form is predicate, isn't it? So you are explaining the emptiness. Emptiness is form. So emptiness is, you put emphasis on emptiness. See, emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. When we say form is emptiness, this is emptiness. And emptiness is form. When we say emptiness is form, that is enlightenment is past, or unconditional one is past, and those are conditioned ones. So it means unconditional one is conditioned one, which is I and no. I understand your word in this way. Am I correct?
I don't know how far the conversation got at this point. I was wanting to know if I could just transpose words beside form. Instead of saying form is emptiness, I could say consciousness is emptiness. Emptiness is consciousness. Impulse is emptiness. Emptiness is impulse.
Oh, yes. There could be many analogies. Yes.
And everything that you said about form and emptiness also applies to these other four things.
Yes. Yes, that is very true. That is actually what we mean, but we explain it all the traditional way.
The concept of saving others before saving yourself. What does it mean to save others?
Save others.
Yeah.
Save others does not mean just alms giving or, to address by kind words. That is not, in normal way, is not. But to save others in its true sense, to give the strength or to make his life stronger, or to make his ego stronger. It's actually to save others. It is most important point.
Then when you say save others before saving yourself, do you mean save others in the process or by saving yourself?
Save us before or after, we say many times. This is in word, as long as you use word. One of the two should be first. The other should be next. As long as you say two things, to save myself and to save others, this is actually, two ways of explaining things. So we should say one is first and one is after, but actually it is same thing. So far, same thing, and your understanding should reach this point. Oh.
What is meant by effortless effort?
Effortless effort. Oh, that is effort. When you feel you are following, you are making effort, putting something as your example, or according to the rules, that is effort, just effort. The effortless effort comes from your true understanding, which comes before the teaching or rules. Do you understand? So whatever you do, that is your work, your practice. When your practice becomes your practice, that is effortless effort. Whatever effort you make, that is your effort. When the effort is yours, when the world is yours, there is nothing, no restriction. See? It goes as you want to go. Because you want to do it, you do it. That is effortless effort.
Can I ask a question? One question that's come up quite a few times is when students have been asked if they would work in the kitchen, they say that, oh, Zen is Zazen. I want to practice Zazen. I should be in here, not in kitchen. Or some other student should be in kitchen. Or they don't think of our cook who's been in kitchen for 4 months without sitting in Zazen. And somehow it seems to me that Zen is a whole life kind of practice which doesn't involve just Zazen. But can you make some comment on that?
Yeah, this is very, actually, to explain it easy, whatever you do, it should be Zen. But actually, this is very difficult. That is why we sit actually in cross-legged position. This is the most direct, easiest way to practice our way. And so, I'm very sorry for the people who is working in the kitchen, actually. But those who work in the kitchen, if they think, if they work, the idea of Zen and kitchen work is different. That is, he does not deserve, person who is responsible for kitchen work. See, he has that much spirit in his work. I know it is difficult, but even though it is difficult, you should do that. Difficulty is a good chance to realize our true way, as Maizumi Sensei said. You should be disturbed by zazen. When you go to the kitchen, kitchen is disturbance. When you sit in Zendo, the pain on your legs is disturbance. Wherever you go, there is disturbance. So you have something to work on. as a practice. In this way, we extend our practice. Did you understand? Oh, excuse me. That is my answer.
天童さんのことで私も一言ちょっとよろしいですか。
どうぞ。
I'm glad that Shuso also raised a very good point. In fact, I have been appreciating very much for those who are working in the kitchen, especially the one who is in charge of it. Must be a terrific effort to control the meals for us like this. I really appreciate it. And when we read the documents, like Brooklyn Father, that sort of documents, those who play the main role are mostly like in Shuso. And here in this, for this training session, Dick is Shuso. Either Shuso or the attendants. Here Sandy is Suzuki Roshi, the attendant. And cook. And generally speaking, the cook are the very well trained monks. Unless they are simply not allowed to be a cook. So it's very important. And perhaps Seppo Gizon, he was a very great man in later Tang Dynasty. He spent most of his training time in the kitchen. And he trained himself in a terrific way. And what I wanted to say is that cooking is a very, very important thing. And at the same time, I wanted to express my gratitude and gratefulness for those who worked hard in kitchen, where it's rather are considered to be a minor place, but it is not at all. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Someone suggested that we, next training period, hire people to work in the kitchen, and so that everyone can sit. But if you think about that, and you think about that, if we can't take care of ourselves, then what is Zen?
Suggestion would be to have more people in the kitchen over the session.
We'd need a larger kitchen.
I know, I didn't mean more. I meant more on alternate days, alternate people rather than the same people for 7 days.
Well, it takes a certain amount of skill to be a kitchen. It takes somebody who's quite good. And that's one reason many of the older students are in the kitchen, because they're willing to say yes when the question's asked, and they also understand better how this happens. Some of the students who say no make the students who give up Zazen for 6 months or a year to make this kind of thing possible feel like maybe they're running a hotel or something like that, you know. So we have to have students who have some experience, and it's hard to, I think next year when we have the larger kitchen, it may be easier to train more people, and as we go along, we'll train more people. But as Chino Sensei said, we're a baby monastery, and we need baby monks in the kitchen. Suzuki Roshi, I think we should think about ending soon. This is the time we normally chant Shunryu.
You were practicing limiting our activities. And I was wondering if you thought it would be good when we get back to our regular life training city, if we should try there to practice some kind of limitation of activities.
I couldn't follow her.
She said, here we practice some limitation of our activity. Would it be good in the city to practice, to think about our city life and practice some limitation of our city life as a kind of practice?
Yeah, that is very good, but very difficult to do it, you know. That's almost impossible, I think. You want, you know, excellent teacher. I cannot do that. I cannot be responsible for that. Someday we can do it. But as I said, city life, you say that the great and the bigger the city is, the more complicated. And if there's 100 people, there is 100 ways of city life. That's very difficult to figure out what is going in the city. If you live in, for instance, Tokyo or New York, you are alone. Only one person is working. No one is working with you, actually. I feel in that way. So, you know, the practice should be done. Fundamental practice should be done in this kind of way. Then you can extend this space to city life. That is how I understand. Thank you very much for your meaningful discussion.